Oh, hello. Welcome in. It's the Birds of the Feather podcast with your boy Q City.
It's your boy Taj Bravado.
And this is episode 29. We got the Motown Blues. We're going to talk about our loss versus the Lions this week. Look the next week versus the Jags. Talk a little bit about it, what went on in our division and in division. Give me props. Really bad betting week. And then some city talk in the end. So come along with me and enjoy this ride. Yo, man, this week, this week was rough. So we come in on a 20-6 loss versus the Lions. Um, it was as Usher would say, it was all bad. It was all bad, bro. I didn't really find many highlights from the game. Tell me what you thought, man.
Um, just defensively they did fine. Besides, outside of that one play to Lepore, the
Yeah,
defense
which
did.
was just a breakdown in coverage.
Yeah, it was
Truly
the
just a
breakdown.
breakdown.
But like other than that, like the defense did all that you could ask the defense to do. Now offensively, it was a lot of because it's hard to put anything on one person. Like, yes, Ritter performed well, but you also got to look at the offensive line, and then you also have to look at the receivers, and then you also got to look at Arthur Smith. It was just a poor performance across the board offensively. Um, yeah, it's just from play designs to lazy route running to missing blocks. Because I seen some type of stat that Ritter had 1.3 seconds to throw the ball in that game on average. I don't care how good of a quarterback you is, you really can't do much with that. But
Now,
my biggest
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, but like outside of that, my biggest issue with Ritter is probably just the same knock that he's had since the draft process. It is inaccuracies. Because even when he had the time, he was still missing relatively easy throws.
Now, you hit on my main points. You hit on my main points. All right, so the first thing we could break it down. We'll talk about the highlight of the game. I felt like our defense came to play. Now, what I will say is that our defense coming to play did translate to production in the sense that Jesse Bates was Jesse Bates. He was awesome. He had, I want to say, 9 tackles and that interception as well. Balled out. You know what I'm saying? That's Jesse. We like even in 3 games, we've come to expect that out of him, including his track record in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But no sacks, bro. No, and I've seen time and again what a no pass rush Atlanta defense looks like, and that hadn't been us through 2 games. That hadn't been us through 2 games, and so like it felt like Goff had pressure, but we weren't getting home, and the pressure didn't seem to affect his ability to complete passes and make throws for a majority of the day. That was
Right.
kind of disheartening because he was, I wouldn't say he carved them up, but they were able to get a pretty substantial lead, and then Jamar Gibbs went stupid. Jamar Gibbs had timely runs today. He only carried the ball 17 times. He only carried the ball 17 times. Had like 80 something yards. He was able to get through relatively quickly. He was able to get first downs like pancakes, bro, like flapjacks. Like they was just coming out, coming out, coming out, especially late in the third quarter. I felt like our offense put us in a bad position in the third quarter, missing that field goal because that would have made it a one possession game relatively early, um, rather than late. And we were in a position where we had to throw the ball and was down 2 scores. But I felt like out of the 3 units, our defense came the most to play.
Yeah. Yeah, because speaking of the 3 units, so like the third unit special teams, I've noticed we're really missing Avery Williams.
Yes,
Because the punt
yes,
return game is not it.
it's non-existent. It's
Yeah,
non-existent this year.
because this
And
season I think we averaged like 6 yards a return when Avery was averaging 16. I mean, I know it's year to year, but that's kind of crazy.
That's pretty substantial. That's 10 yards of field position and hell. That's the difference between who making that kick and missing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I I
Well,
feel like
I got some things to say about Koo, but yeah,
I feel like punt returner is one of those things that you don't know you need it until you realize you don't have it.
right.
You know what I'm saying? To where it's like a kick returner is like you don't think about it. And I was listening to another football guy, and he was saying the fact that like it's hard to find a punt returner on a good skill position team because you're not going to put your best skill player back there, right? So, like
Yeah,
in truth and essence, Bijan is probably our best punt returner, but
yeah.
you're never going to put him back there. You know what I'm saying? That's unnecessary.
Unless it's just like one of them, you need an explosive on that type of situation.
An explosive punt return for that position, like for that situation, purely. You know what I'm saying? Like it's either Bijan or Cordell who's hurt right now. You know what I'm saying? Like still hasn't found his way on the field this year. And it's like now I feel like with a lessened offensive load, you could probably put Cordell back there again. But it's one of those things that like you don't realize how much you need it until you don't have it. All right, so let's
Right.
get third team, that third phase of the game, right? What's going on with Cool, bro?
Yeah, that's three missed kicks, what, two missed kicks and a missed extra point in 3 games.
In 3 games, this man is an all pro kicker.
Mm.
And from a point to where he was automatic, especially in domes, we're getting to a point to where you are afraid to line him up if you get inside the 35-yard line. And that was never the case.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's
And,
it's disheartening.
and I know kicking can be like golfing where you can get the yips and you can kind of just like just lose it. But like he made like a 52 yarder. You know what I'm saying? So like where's the I'm not sure where the line of differentiation is. I love the fact that last week there was enough confidence in him to give you the game winner even after missing an extra point earlier in the game. But like, yo, that one in the third killed us, man. That one in like people always say like a game winning touchdown or a game winning drive or a game winning field goal, but there's so many moments that lead up to a game being close. Most NFL games are one possession games. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like the fact that like we couldn't cut it down to one possession right there, and like we ended up giving them the ball at the like 32, 34, something like that. I know it was inside the 35
mhm.
because it was about a 50-yard kick, and gave them the ball. I don't think they did much with it, but like just the difference in making a field goal there and kicking off to them and making them drive the length of the field and at least getting some momentum for your team that was really struggling offensively at that time is
Yeah,
that was a backbreaker. That was a backbreaker.
he definitely was a backbreaker. Because especially in a game where those 3 points could have added up. I mean, ultimately, the offense didn't do much because Detroit dared us to throw the ball, and it paid off for them.
The last thing I'm gonna say on defense and special teams, Laporta had the one big one over top. He went 8 for 84, but it was really just that big one over top. He was really possession based most of the game. I felt like they kept him under control, but St. Brown had a day, bro. St. Brown had a day. 9 for 102. Uh, he wasn't lined up on AJ specifically
He's a slot
for a good bit.
receiver.
Yeah, for a good bit of the day, but like I feel like that's kind of a red flag on us needing to upgrade our cornerback depth. If if when we go 2 down or 3 down, we're just completely unable to guard.
Well, I mean, we still had our starting nickel corner. The only starter that we were missing, and he played in spots was Akuda. Um, but in defense of that, St. Brown's been doing that to everybody.
He
It's just one of those things to where like he's one of the players that's going to get his. You can't really stop him, but you could just hope to slow him down. So like
and we kept him out of
I'm
the
not
end
up
zone.
yeah, I'm not upset with the cornerback play. But with the exception of that one play, I mean, because for the most part, our coverage has been pretty good. But it's the these pressures got to start turning into sacks, so this defense can take that next step.
That's the main thing. And but I also think a good bit of it is if you look at the quarterbacks you play is directly related to the sack numbers that we've had. So like we had 3 sacks game one. You know what I'm saying? You're playing a rookie.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we only sacked Love one time, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it was on a blitz. Yeah, Caden Ellis.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we only sacked him one time. He's not a rookie. He's been in that system for like 3 years, and you have a really creative play caller that gets him out on the move and gets the ball out of his hands. Jared Goff, you can say what you want about him. He is a highly productive quarterback who's been in the league for 8, 9 years now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
a lot of those pressures maybe could have been sacks with maybe a lesser experienced quarterback because the ball out of his hand. You know what I'm saying? So like I do
Mm.
take it with a grain of salt, but like you do want those pressures to turn into sacks.
Because we only got 3 on the season, so like T.J. Watt for perspective has 6. Miles
And
Garrett had 3.5 in one game.
yeah,
So
we got to start getting home. Even though like Campbell is not really a pass rusher anymore.
no,
Grady, yeah,
they just
he's
use
a
him on
big
the
body.
early downs, and then they just bring in Ebiketie on the pass rush now.
Now,
Um,
something I noticed in the Carolina game, I was very happy about was the variance in the play calling on defense, especially like blitzing from different angles. And it's like Goff didn't show outside of that big pass to Laporta, didn't show throughout the day that he was identifying pressures consistently. It's just we stopped bringing them. And
well,
I'm trying to figure out what changed in between because when it was 10-3, they were moving, they were bringing exotic blitzes, they were playing them straight up, man on the backside. So it's like, hey, you just got to beat us, and we feel like our Jimmies are better than yours. And when it got to 13-3, and we came out in the second half, it was almost like, well, look, if our front four can't get home, they just can't get home. We're just gonna play coverage behind them, and that has never been an Atlanta strong suit. Now, granted, I've never like watched this defensive coordinator outside of his time with the Saints routinely, and I haven't seen him with this personnel outside of the first 2 games. But that just didn't seem like a good defensive plan for me.
I mean, it probably wasn't the best, but I mean, when you look at it objectively, the Falcons are what number 8 in yards allowed through with the 3 games. So we're a top 10 defense statistically right
Mhm.
now. I just think it's just one of those things to where the defense was on the field so much. It's like eventually you're gonna gas your guys who you just blitz them all the time to no avail.
And I
So
think I think that leads us. I think that leads us into the elephant in the room.
yeah,
The offense was terrible. The offense was absolutely terrible this week.
always
Um,
on just about every level.
yeah, yeah. So like, first off, the offensive line, um, 7 sacks. Now. I will be fair. One of those that I noticed, only one, came from Ritter holding the ball. He held the ball too long. I want to say it was the Jack sack.
Now
The
see
the
with with that particular play, it wasn't even Ritter holding the ball. It was a cover set because I've seen all 22 of that. And this brings it to another level of the receivers. Now there was a gaping hole in the zone, and Drake London was running a sit route, but for whatever reason he drifted back toward the sideline instead of to the hole. If he drifts toward the hole, Ritter could just let it go and don't have to hold it. But instead, he just sits behind the linebacker, and then when Ritter gets seconds, when he runs to the middle. I wasn't understanding the thought process behind it. Like,
So I'm feeling like that's a London didn't read the coverage and they weren't on the same page there. Either London didn't read or Ritter didn't read it. Because if Ritter didn't read it, that would lead to slow processing and holding the ball. That's the only sack that I really felt like was on him.
well,
But
I
that's
don't even say you could say you can read it because like you're running with two read, you're running two route two route plays, and one of the guys is because it was only Kyle Pitts and Drake London that ran off routes.
yeah.
Everyone
And you're
with
still in
Kyle
the
Pitts up
pocket.
top.
You can't throw
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone with Kyle Pitts up top, and then Drake London has the opportunities. So as a quarterback, what can you do? Because
You gotta eat it. You
he
gotta eat it.
tried to he tried to escape out of the pocket, and then he got sacked. Because as a receiver, you got to have the quarterback out, drift to the open spot, find the open space if you know it's his home.
Yeah, find the open space and sit down. Like that. I don't disagree with you. I wouldn't I wouldn't say Drake runs lazy routes because I've never seen him. Now, is he a does he do a lot on his routes? Not that I've seen, but I wouldn't say he ran lazy routes. To me, that more so looks like a miscommunication on what he was reading.
Oh no, I wasn't
So
calling it a lazy route. My lazy routes weren't Drake London.
now I haven't seen it from Matt Collins. I'm gonna tell you who I saw from, and I'm not really a fan of saying this, even though he had five for 45. But Kyle Pitts was kind of
He
jogging up there, bro.
he was running some lazy routes. Now on the shot, some people were saying that they believed he had a like maybe what an injured himself because he pulled up, but I didn't see him pull up. It just looked like he was just jogging. Because like
Yeah.
even on the run plays when he's just running out the blocks, it looks like he's not into the game. Now,
Now I don't know how much of that is now, but five catches and he had 8 targets this game. So
yeah,
it's like they were almost trying to like re-engage him into the offense after two really less than stellar weeks. But I don't know if this is one of those like you already lost him type situations.
the body language is there. Because I think is because like even when he's open, he has chances for bigger plays, but he's getting missed. So it's just like, man, what am I doing?
No, and I get that. I get that. The onus is on Ritter. So what's called 21 for 38 for 201. We're back to the 5.228 yards per attempt, bro. Because I don't do yards per completion because that can be skewed. Right? Like if I pass you the ball, I pass Drake the ball and then he takes it an extra 10 yards, it's going to look like I completed a 20 yard pass. Like, I feel like yards per attempt really focus on your execution of the offense as a whole and really has a lot to say about play calling and honestly your quarterback's effectiveness. So
See,
that's why I
but
went like, go ahead.
yards per attempt can be skewed just as much though. Like what can't be skewed is average depth of target. But
True.
the yards per attempt is just because if you hit one bomb play, then that just takes the numbers all the way up. Whether it's completions or attempt, it drives the numbers.
Which it does, but I always use it as a point if you have a lot of attempts and hella low yardage, which we are consistently running into. Like high attempts with high yardage makes perfect sense. Low attempts with high yardage, you hit some bombs. Low attempts with low yardage, your coach just literally doesn't trust you to throw the ball. But high attempts with low yardage means you're dinking and dunking all freaking day. And he left hella throws out there on the field, bro.
I
Like
mean, that's easy to say, but like when the O line gives up 7 sacks, you don't really have the luxury of doing anything much than they can dunk.
7 sacks and 24 pressures.
Yeah, so you don't really have the
24
luxury of
seconds.
doing anything other than dinking and dunking
But
in
bro,
that
part of that
circumstance.
is play calling. Part
It
of
is play
that is
calling.
play calling.
Like
How many times did we move the pocket?
well, there were times when we tried. There were a few times when we tried to move the pocket, but they were in the backfield or they just didn't bite because Detroit literally just set on everything.
Especially when we got behind.
Yeah,
Especially when we got behind.
because they just loaded the box. It was 8 to 9 people in the box in multiple times during the game because they didn't respect our passing game, and for good reason. We didn't give them
So
we didn't give them any
Algier
reason to
had
respect it.
Algier had seven rushes, 12 yards. And he had like one really angry, good run.
Well,
So
that wasn't a
like
catch.
really
That was a catch.
was it one more time?
That was a catch.
That was a catch. My fault. Yeah. So he had like one really good, angry moment. But like 7 for 12, bro.
That's
That's
not on
supposed to
him.
be your that's supposed to be your power bet.
That's not on the running backs.
No. I'm saying. I know it's not on the running backs. I'm saying that's supposed to be your power bet.
Yeah.
Then your scat dynamic bet, 10 for 33. One of the
Yeah.
things that I really, really loved about Arthur Smith when it came to getting Bijan involved in these first two games was that you did not just go right up the gut. You got creative in moving him around on run plays, specifically to stretch plays, right?
Yeah.
You recognized super early in this game. Detroit has the speed to outrun our stretch plays. Like,
I wouldn't say it was that they had the speed. It's just it's a lot easier to defend the run when you got that extra person in the box.
but
Because our first
either
two
way,
games, they played two safety high. It's much easier to run when you're dealing with a 7-man box because you get a hat on that and then one guy versus the running back. But when you're dealing with them 8-man boxes, it makes things a lot more challenging because they're just saying you're not going to beat us this way. No
and
matter
my
how
thing is,
talented, no
not
matter
one
how
time, not one time were you able to hit a play action pass behind an 8-man box.
you're not, you weren't, and that's why what they did worked because we weren't able to make them pay.
But you kept calling zone run plays. That's my issue. That's my issue there. You kept
But
calling zone run
we're a
plays.
zone run team, so they're going to run his own plays. That's the bones of the scheme.
My
Everything
man's, then you gotta get Bijan off the field. You gotta get Bijan off the field. Get Algier in that position. If
but
Algier's
they
gonna run
both
out,
struggled.
no. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Because I know both of them had like terrible days, right? One play versus the Packers that resulted in the touchdown for Ritter, right? The zone play action, uh, boot action out the back, right? How many times did we run that? How many times did we run that? Because I only counted like four, right?
Well, but what happened on those four when you ran it?
Positive play,
You sure?
throwaway. No, positive play. That was a completion.
Mm-hmm.
Throwaway. Um, Ritter run. I think it was like a 1 yard, and one was a sack.
Because it was an instant sack because Aiden Hutchinson wasn't going for any of it. So it's like if the defense isn't biting the fake and it's just they're pretty much running unabided to the quarterback, you gotta try to protect your quarterback.
And then Ritter is not a straight drop back, throw the ball quarterback.
He
It's
can be
not
if he
him.
has time, but there
It's
was no
it's
time.
it's not him. It's not him, bro. It's not.
The thing is, we got to look at it like this. It's game that was game number 7. Was it bad? Yes. Were there flashes? Yes. You can't sit here and say what you think he is off of 7 games. Because how many times have we seen people that look shitty in their first 7 games and then eventually they keep
But
progressing
but
and then they
here's
look better
here's
by
the also
game
part of it.
20?
But there's also part of it though.
It
It's
is a part of
seven
it.
games. It's seven
Yeah,
games. But you had a whole year in this system, bro.
he did, but he doesn't have a whole year of gameplay. That
I understand you don't have a whole year gameplay. You had the
because
whole year. You had the
it's
whole
like
year in the
this.
system. So like you're missing reads is the issue.
I
because
don't
you
think he's
have
missing
this your second
reads.
year.
I don't think he's missing reads. It's just, and this happens with any quarterback.
He's
If you
not
hit
letting
them,
it go.
no, okay, I can't. You can't say that because here's the thing: if you only get 1.3 seconds to throw the ball on average, what are you supposed to do? It's not like he's holding the ball forever. He has the probably the least amount of time to throw the ball out of any quarterback in the league. 1.3 seconds. What are you supposed to do with it? Realistically, that's hike, and you get the ball, and then you maybe get to your first reading, get hit. What are you supposed to do with that? Like, yes, Ritter played bad, but the old line did him absolutely positively no favors.
Which I don't disagree with. I don't disagree with. I think it was a bad overall showing. I'm not saying like,
Because
oh,
it's like I'm
Ritter's trash off of this game. Like, no,
because it's
no.
like I'm not absolving Ritter playing bad, but it's just like it's not just him. Like, because it's a lot of different things. Because it's like you can't really say he missed any wide open reads because either there was no time or the receivers didn't run Chris Rock or the play design wasn't there. It was just a train wreck across all fronts. Everyone could have played better.
Yeah,
So it's just like yes, Ritter. He's 24. He's in his that was his seventh game, and going against a team that pretty much forced him to throw the ball. The run game helps him get going, but it's very difficult to do that when they know you can't run. I think we ran the ball with maybe less than 20 times that game.
17 times, bro,
Yeah,
or
and
19
we
times.
19 times, and we average about over 35.
Yeah,
So if you cut the runs in half, it's not going to be good. Like hats off to Detroit for a solid game plan. And Detroit got a player over there by the name of Brian Branch.
bro. Why you reading my mind though? Why you reading my mind though? Because that man was balling, bro.
He
That
was
man was
everywhere.
balling.
It got to a point where I'm like, man, I'm not even mad. Like
Yeah,
he's
dog.
everywhere.
11 tackles, bro. 11
11
tackles.
tackles, three pass breakups.
Yes.
Like he was
Yes.
everywhere, and he's one of the only people that I've been able to see square up and tackle Bijan.
Yeah. Yeah. Like broke down. He was
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's
no,
like
all American form tackle, bro.
yeah,
Like,
because it's like if it wasn't for him, Bijan probably would have broke some of these runs. But this dude broke down and tackled him textbook.
yeah, nah. They got them one. They
Yeah,
got him.
he one of them ones. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, nah, they got him one. Like because he had that pick six against Kansas City.
Yep.
He didn't really flash to me the second game, or I wasn't really looking like at the Lions like that. But this game, nah,
Yeah, he was
he
doing
was
his
all
thing.
over the field, bro. He was all over the field.
He was definitely doing his thing this week. I can't take nothing from him. So
Nah.
when you face with it was just because and then like my biggest concern truly is the offensive line this week because coming into this game, Detroit only had 1 sack on the season. They only had
And we made him
one
look all world.
sack on the season.
Yeah, we made him look all world.
Yeah, we couldn't buy anything. Like obviously they picked on the rookie Bergeron, but then Callum McGarry's not doing no favors either because it was one play action where before Ritter can even finish out the fake, all you see is McGarry trying to catch up to the block as he tackles Ritter.
Nah, facts. I remember that play. Like as he turned around, you see McGarry looking at him in the eyes, bro.
It's,
Like, bro, I missed that. My fault.
it's one of them. Hey, yo, bro, look out, he come. My bad, bro.
My fault. My fault, G.
Like, that's the
Then
last thing you want
then
is
you gonna try
is
to
a
help him
lookout
up off the
block.
ground.
The last thing you want when you turn your back to the defense is a lookout. What you mean lookout?
What you mean, bro?
Like that's not what you want. So like you know, teams have bad games. Hopefully, that was just a bad game and not a sign of things to come. And hopefully, they can get this passing game going, and hopefully, this offensive line can get their shit together. Because right now, they're looking like they are majorly regressing.
Nah, this was a tough one. Um, but routinely, actually, bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't think this is a flush the film type of game. I think this is. I think there's some learning and growth opportunities for the offense specifically through this whole game.
Mhm.
Really need to focus on what's going on special teams wise. But I feel like the defense allowing 20 points, especially after being put in bad positions for a good bit of the day, I feel like they only drove. You had one defensive breakdown, and when they drove the length of the field, they were ending in field goals. I felt like the defense definitely did what they were supposed to do for the day, but you can still learn and grow from it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hopefully, because like I think on that touchdown, because the weak link of the defense right now is Trey Flowers.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, picking on
yeah,
him, bro.
because he, I think I'm not 100% sure, but I do think I recall that he was supposed to be guarding Laporta on the broke down coverage right now. He was supposed to be guarding him. And he just bailed for whatever reason.
I think so. So when I looked at it, it looked like a miscommunication in the secondary because base came down. So I'm thinking he thought like he came down to Brown in that, wasn't it Brown? He came down to Brown in that, and so I'm thinking it was man, and Flowers played it like it was zone and let him go to the safety because he bit
And
down.
I'm gonna give Jesse the benefit of the doubt before I get rid of Trey. Trey could have
I'm,
been
I'm
right. Jesse could have been wrong, but just due to who Jesse is, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
so that play, there was no defensive check. Right. And trust me, they played it over and over and over again. There was no defensive check on that play that they called out or tried to shift and move. So like that to me sounds like there was when I say miscommunication, I mean somebody just like forgot to play. Like
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
like as a corner, the kind of rule of thumb is if you forget to play, just pick a man and stay with him.
yeah.
So like it seemed to me like that's kind of it's kind of weird because like Laporta he didn't line up on the line that play. So like,
Yeah, he was outside. He was outside in front of Trey.
yeah, the fact that you could just run free is like, yeah. But learn from it. We're gonna grow. Hell, let's move on to the next game. We
Yeah.
move. All right, man. So next week, facing the Jags, right?
Bright and
One two
early.
team. What's up?
Bright and early too.
Man, 9:30 Eastern time. You know, I'm central, so it's 8:30 in the morning. Will I be up? Absolutely. But the
Yeah,
point
but
is
it's just man.
early. Um, but they're 1-2 coming off their loss versus the Texans, making CJ Stroud look like back in his Ohio State days. Uh,
Yeah,
this team is actually going through some struggles, but they started really, really bad last year as well. So I'm trying to figure out which is it? Is it the team that went 7-1 down, or is the team that started the year like 1-7?
I don't even think they know yet. They're hoping they're the 7-1 team, but I'm hoping they're the one that started off slow again.
One thing I will notice about them, super imaginative offense with Doug Peterson. He does tons of things to get his playmakers in open space. You got Lawrence, who's just wheeling and dealing out there, even with the two losses, have played pretty good games. Travis Etienne, uh, who was kind of billed as this pass catching scat back, game breaker type back, but has shown impressive ability to run through the tackles this year. Well, late last year and this year. And then It's going to be our first time seeing an old Falcon, Calvin Ridley, whose first game was monumental, and then last game had a bad case of the dropsies.
Mm, one thing I do remember about Mr. Ridley, he don't like contact. So, Red, I love you, but we gonna have to put hands on you this Sunday
Now,
because
I absolutely think his route running is elite,
oh
but
yeah,
you might have a point there.
no, his route running is absolutely elite, but there's plenty of times that where you see he'll get open or whatever, or even if there's someone that's close to bearing down, like really hitting him, he'll either alligator armor or catch it and then run away from the contact. Because I can't tell you how many times he had me yelling at the TV when he would get the ball,
And just do the
have the
little
first
tiptoe out of
down,
bounds.
and just run back. And I'm like, what are you doing? The first down right there. Or when we played the Chiefs and he didn't trust his speed and he just ran out of bounds.
Yeah, yeah, do the little tiptoe and slide out of bounds thing. I wouldn't be shocked if AJ traveled this week. Um, I would actually hope he would because Ridley is like the main target. Christian Kirk hadn't taken off this year at all. The rest of the receiver corps actually looks pretty pedestrian. I think that on the offensive side, we're going to get a steady dose of ETN and this rookie, not rookie, but the second year guy they got. Um, I honestly think Trevor's not playing bad, but I think that it's going to be a ball control type of game for
Who's
Jacksonville.
the second year? Who's the second year guy?
It's either a second year guy or a rookie.
Oh yeah, Tank Baby. He's the rookie.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be a steady dose of those two throughout the game. Um,
I'm looking at the stats for the Jaguars for the first three games, and they have three receivers that pretty much have almost identical stats. They all have 173 yards and two touchdowns, with it being Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram.
and each of them
Which,
have gone. So like Ridley had the huge first game, right?
yeah,
And then Evan Ingram, he had a decent game this last game. So I'm guessing his big game was the second one.
you know, Evan Ingram could be a problem for us this week, especially with Troy Anderson going on IR.
That's a loss. That's a tough loss
Yeah, because
this week.
he looked like he was playing some really good football. Um,
At
but
minimum, it'll be 4 weeks. Hopefully, we can get him back.
I'm not so sure about that because they're saying it's a torn pec.
Ah.
So 4 weeks would be rough.
No, what I'm saying we go on IR. It's at minimum 4 weeks.
No,
But if
yeah,
they're
no,
saying,
yeah, no, yeah, it's minimum 4 weeks, but typically that pec is a year thing.
that's
I
it,
mean,
that's it. Yeah, no, he's done for the
everyone's
year.
body is different, but that might be a rep. Now, the silver lining is the game Detroit didn't play. Nate Lemon played pretty well. I'm not sure how much of a believer you are in the PSF rankings, but he had like an 80, 83 or 86 overall PFF grade in his lone start. So that's encouraging, and if he can carry that along, I think we should be fine.
A blind
But
squirrel can find a nut, bro.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, like, but he does have athletic limitations. He's great against the run, but in pass coverage, if they know he's in pass coverage, they're going to pick on him.
That is
So,
going to be, yeah. Evan Ingram might be a problem because if you got to make Jesse guard him, then you're leaving 1-on-1s on the sides and over the top, and that could be an issue.
yeah, it could. It very much could.
So our defense has their work cut out for them this week.
Yeah.
On the offensive side, we have to deal with a number 8 overall pick in Josh Allen and the number 1 overall pick in Trayvon Walker.
I mean, yeah. And Josh
Both
Allen
of them
has
count.
3 sacks on the season. Trayvon has one. Kayvon Chayton has one. Um, on paper, this defense should be problematic.
Yes.
But
They also just allowed 37 points to the Texans. So it's
yes.
like,
So it's like the Jaguars are a good team that is just playing bad football at the moment.
and that's my thinking of them as a whole. We will be welcoming a former Falcon back on defense, Lua Khan,
Yep.
but I definitely do fall into the mindset of like good team just playing bad. I'm not sure if that's a reflection of the coaching, the player. Well, of course, it's a reflection of the coaching, but
Um,
like the players,
yeah.
the schedule. Like Trevor always does bad against the Texans. Weirdly, he always does bad against the Texans. So that's not a shock that they lost that game. But like, what are we looking for going into this game? London is basically a Jags home game for them. They have built up, by consistently doing games over there. They've built up a pretty good fan base. Um, so maybe a little hostile. I am looking forward to see how Ritter and the rest of the offense responds to this embarrassing loss versus the Lions.
Now, I expect them to come out with a much better game. Much better game. Um, because I did have last week tabbed as a Desmond Ritter breakout game, and boy, I was wrong.
Why? We missed the mark on that one a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely missed the mark. But hopefully this week, just, at least just get the running game going, get the ball back into Bijan hand, and just let everything just run everything through Bijan.
And I'm looking to get Kyle Pitts back re-engaged, right? I'm hoping it was just an injury. It looked like he was very engaged week one. Um, very low production week two. And then it felt like they were forcing him the ball this past week. So like maybe that's an effort to get him re-engaged into the offense. Uh, and I hope it continues this week because he is a game-breaking talent. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And if Ritter isn't going to complete any more than 21 or 22 balls, 8 of them need to be going to London, and another 7 or 8 of them need to be going to Pitts. And then you figure out
yeah.
how to get the rest of Bijan, and Matt Collins can eat when he can eat.
No, I'm looking at last year's schedule, right? And this this is actually the poorest offensive performance Arthur Smith had in his time. It looks like in Atlanta. But last time with Detroit, no, not Detroit, but Cincinnati, we lost 35-17. We came back the next week with a very strong offensive performance. So I'm hoping that we can get a little bit of that this upcoming Sunday.
Yeah, and it's the sign of a good coach. Go back to the
Yeah,
drawing board and find something new. And I
yeah,
do believe Arthur Smith is a good coach.
I do. I do. I do believe sometimes he gets in his own way and he could be a little overconfident. Because I've been seeing a lot on Twitter that people believe Arthur Smith needs to get a passing game coordinator, and I tend to agree with that.
I feel like what's the point of that title or giving it to somebody if you're never going to let them call the game?
No, no,
Like
no. See,
you're the offensive coordinator, you're the play caller, and like this is the offense that worked in Tennessee. Getting someone who's going to create amazing passing concepts that don't exactly like a three wide passing concept with a three wide passing concept out of shotgun does not mesh well with your zone run scheme play action. So you're not going to call it.
I mean, but you still got to have it in there for because the thing is you can't run everything on play action.
No, no, you're
Realistically,
you're, you're not. I'm just saying, like in general, like getting 8 yards on first down puts you in 2nd and 2, and then it's like, okay, let's open up the playbook, and it's like, well, the play I will call here is a zone play action read with a comeback route from my X receiver
Now,
and my
see,
slot receiver sitting down in the zone. Like
yeah,
that's what
no,
I'm going to call every time. It doesn't matter if you have a four wide play zone.
no,
Uh,
it's okay. So with the passing game coordinator, Arthur Smith still calling the plays, but the passing game coordinator brings newer pass concepts to the plays that currently exist to get better spacing or just freshen things up. Because right now, Arthur Smith, the play action stuff is very, very predictable.
no, I feel like his passing game is kind of remedial, but if you think about where he comes from, his passing game always had superior athletes. And so he never had to actually scheme the passing game in a way that
Yeah,
wasn't,
so Arthur Smith's system is more of a Jimmy's and Joe's versus X's and O's.
yeah, he never had to scheme the passing game in a way that was meant to be creative or get people open like Kyle
Now,
Shanahan. When Kyle Shanahan
let's see.
schemes the passing game, he's scheming people open.
Yeah, but
Uh,
and I think we need to adopt some of that because, like, yeah, we have some good Jimmy's and Joe's, but at the same time, so do other teams. So there's going to be a time to where you just can't just outman the other person. You're going to have to scheme.
I don't think I think he's 100% there in the run game.
Yeah,
110% there in the
the
running.
run game, yeah, he can scheme his ass off in the run game.
Yeah,
That's why
but
I
I
just
don't.
said he needs to bring in a passing game coordinator just to help,
Yeah, I don't think.
just at least bring in some fresher ideas that you can operate off of these play actions because you have this nasty run game. Just bring in
No,
a little bit more freshness with play action.
but something that I've learned, bro, is like as I've grown into it a little bit, is that like if I go down, which let's keep it a whole buck. If he ends the season 7-9, he's getting fired, and it's like
I don't
if
think
I go down,
I don't think his seat's even remotely even warm right now.
no, but I'm just saying if I go down, let me go down being me, right? And like
Yeah,
I don't see him ever setting his ego aside enough to be like, I need help with the passing game, and then implementing and calling those plays. Like it is 100%, bro. If I don't get it done, I just didn't get it done, but I didn't get it done my way. And I've seen this offense work, right? Like I've seen this offense work. I called it. It worked. It got me to the AFC Championship game, right?
didn't get you
Like
to a Super Bowl.
it didn't. It didn't. But like that's what got me hired. If I go out going out my way,
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, you says it himself. I don't know how much of it is just political speak, but he says like you have to evolve in this league. You have to constantly evolve.
and
And I
I believe to the best of his ability, he's trying to.
he trying to, but like sometimes you have to hit outside sources in order to take that next step. The bones of this team, I think we have great bones. I just think we just need just a little chiropractic work just to get everything where you really want it.
I don't doubt it, but hopefully, will the plans that he implements this week help us to beat Jacksonville?
Oh yeah, no, I'm confident that he can, and hopefully that maybe just the passing game is just just minor details. Because do you remember back in the Detroit game where it was like 3rd and 2? Ritter dropped back, throws a pass to Algier, and he gets tackled almost immediately. Do you know what one detail could have made that play work? Is if you allow the other person because Kyle Pitts was on that side. If Kyle Pitts just runs his route at the person that's guarding Algier instead of avoiding him, if you run it at him, that person has to run around you, creating more space. That way, Algier could have got the first down. It's just the little details like that that they gotta hammer in on offense.
Which you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I feel like that's more of a. I don't feel like that's coached through the passing game coordinator. I feel like that's coached through football.
Oh, I mean, it's coached through football. It's coached through football.
No,
But
no,
I
I'm saying
still do
like
think,
football
yeah.
intelligence type of plays. You know what I'm
Oh no,
saying? Like
yeah.
I don't feel like that. Like when I think of like a passing game coordinator in terms of concepts, I think of like kind of how we were talking about personnel packages and then how to move those personnel packages in ways like you said with like spacing, timing, those type of things, right?
That's
And then
what I did. What I was talking about. But that particular thing, I was just speaking just from just basic football knowledge.
yeah, but I don't feel like Arthur Smith is going to one, I don't feel like we have the athletes to go like three wide. And I feel like any passing game coordinator that brings that type of concept to him is like he's not going to respect that concept because he only calls based on personnel, right? And to his detriment, his strongest personnel grouping is his running back core, right? Right now.
I would have to disagree with you when you say we don't have the athletes to run it through, because we do. We absolutely have the athletes. Whether they're utilized correctly is a whole other thing.
Which is
Because
true.
you
Which is
because
true.
because you could use Kyle Pitts out. Kyle Pitts is basically a receiver. Anywhere he's at, you like the matchup. Drake London, if as long as it's 1-on-1, you like the matchup. Now we have some receivers that probably don't get as much play, like a Scotty Miller, who was a supreme speed threat, who's been pretty much a ghost in this offense.
And they tried him at punt return for like three punts and was like, nah.
He just they're trying to get a spark through punt return, and the guy who returned the punt in preseason has not seen any of that work, and I'm a little confused by that. I know you typically don't want to use your starters back there, but like if he was the guy that was most electric back there, you kind of got to give him a look.
I think all things were on the table at like this point of the week because like you don't want to fall to 2-2, especially when you're looking at the rest of our division. So let's go ahead and move to end division. So this week in division, as a division, we went 0-4, bro. Like it was bad all it was bad
I
all around.
mean, it was bad all
Um,
around, but that's good news for us too, because even though we suck, so did everyone else.
exactly, and that's exactly how I looked at it. I was like, you know what? We went we went 0-1 this week because you tried, live in the present. We went 0-1 this week, but everybody went 0-1 this week. So
Right.
obviously we had our loss first in Lions facing the Jags next week. The Saints, heartbreaking loss.
I loved
They
it.
were they were up 17-0 and lost the game 18-17. And the
And missed the
balls,
kick.
the missed the kick to end the game. But the absolute cojones of Matt LaFleur, bro, to be down 17-9 and go for two, that's my type of coach, bro. Because like that's straight up mad thinking, bro, where it's like, you know what? If I miss this two, that just mean I got to get a two next time. Like, yeah, that's straight up Madden thinking, bro. Like, he was
Yeah.
just like 17-9, went for two, 17-11, scored another touchdown, and was like, now the whole pressure is on the other team. He saw the momentum of Carr going out. Now Jameis is playing, and he took it and ran. And I was just like, Packers needed that win. Good game from Jordan Love. Always good to see the Saints lose, but that was just that was tough. That was a heartbreaking loss, but it felt good. It felt good to watch him lose.
I did.
Then the Bucks 2-1, 25-11 beat down versus the Eagles. It wasn't that close. Uh, they play the Saints next week, so at minimum, we're going to have a 2-2 team in the division and a 3-1 team. So that's a real big push for us to handle business against the Jaguars.
Right.
But no, the Bucks got absolutely manhandled this Monday night. And then the Panthers 0-3 lost against the Seahawks, and they faced the Vikings this week, who are also 0-3. So definitely thinking the Vikings are going to be coming out all full tilt. Bryce Young should be coming back, but I'm thinking the Panthers are moving to 0-4.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely can see that.
That Bucks game, bro, that one was hard to watch if you were a Bucks fan, but great to watch if your team had already lost on Sunday and you a Falcons fan, because like,
Oh, right.
bro,
Yeah.
they are not in the Eagles class.
Oh no, it's not. But one thing I noticed watching the Philadelphia play is watching Jalen Carter. You can see why the Falcons had a decision to make, and
Bro,
they I still believe they made the right decision, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
those are two players right there.
Jalen Carter is a man amongst boys, bro. Like he is, yo, his pressure rate. He's one of those. He ain't got to get home. His pressure rate he causes so much gravity. You know what I'm saying on his pass rushes. Stout against the run. Like Baker was shook.
Oh
Baker
yeah,
was shook, bro. And I'm like, I still think we made the right decision. I love Bijan, you know what I'm saying? And obviously not to fruition this week, but like over the long haul, I feel like Bijan is a dynamic player and whatnot. But Jalen Carter looked, woof, you know what I'm saying? And that equals top to bottom, got to be one of, if not the most talented team in the league, right up there. Like it's like Eagles, San Fran, uh, nah, probably the Dolphins. Like they're all like right there. You know what I'm saying in terms of
yeah,
just pure talent. Uh, the Eagles are, quarterback Jalen, wide receiver AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, running back. They got DeAndre Swift looking like an all world player. Pass rush. We just talked about Jalen Carter at the linebacker level. Uh, they got another Georgia Bulldog, don't they? Isn't it
yeah.
Kobe Dean? I think it
They
was.
the Kobe Dean nigga, yeah, the Kobe Dean.
You know what I'm saying? And then at corner, they lost Darius Slay, but so the back end may be an issue, but with that pass rush, that's going to help your back end.
So I mean, they still got one of the better, well, at least cornerback duos. Because Darius Slay's one of the best to do it.
Yeah. So like I just yeah, nah, that Eagles team is
It's stacked. It's an
it's
absolutely stacked team.
yeah, it's that and watching the Bucks match up against them kind of put me in the mindset. It's a little too early to be talking about playoffs, but it did make me think that like, man, maybe our only path in is to win the division. Because you look at common opponents, we beat the Packers, Saints lost to them, right? Uh the Lions, I feel like are a team that we would be in that like mix against. The Seahawks would be in that mix against. Um, but the Eagles, like I feel very confident in the fact that like Eagles or Cowboys are going to be the 2 and 5, like or like one of them is going to win the division, the other one's going to be the 5 seed,
Yeah.
and that's like that's almost like set in stone right there, and so I don't feel like I feel like with the loser of Eagles Cowboys being the 5 seed, that's going to be a double digit win team, which means the 6 and 7 seed may be 10 or 9 wins, which is not impossible for us to get to. But I just think it's looking like our path is to be a division winner. Our path
And
in will be to be a
I
division
mean,
winner.
I mean, to be fair, that is their goal. So I mean, hopefully that worked out for us.
Absolutely. Was 3-2-1 teams. If you factor in division records and if you factor in division records, we got one division win. Um, so do the Saints. But if you factor in conference record, uh, we're all pretty much the same. And so it would come down to like point differential, but no one's doing that in week 3. So I just put us first. Right. So
I mean,
like
yeah,
we're all tied to top the division with the Panthers at the bottom right now. So, as the season goes on, we'll see some separation. But as of right now, we gotta take care of what we can take care of. Like I said, one team in the division, at minimum, one team's gonna be 3-1 and one team's gonna be 2-2. So like let's look to make it 2 3-1 teams next week.
that's the goal.
To the betting portion, give me props. Bye. My man Tosh. This was a rough week for the kid, man. Um Came into the week 5-5, breaking even, right? Ain't made no money, but ain't lost no money, right? 2 and 3 week, down to 7 and 8. So passing yards for golf, over 271, missed it. These are 253.
Mm.
Kyle Pitts over 33 and a half yards. He hit me at 41. To score a touchdown, Drake was a no. Coup over a field goal and a half. Yes, he hit 2. And then all purpose yards, Bijan, 98.5. I put the over, he hit the under at 60. When we went over
Mm.
these last week, I felt so confident. Like the only one I thought would maybe be a miss was the score. But like the Bijan not even hitting the all purpose one, that one kind of hurt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just thought for sure that one would hit. I really did.
I think that the coup over a field goal and a half, that's a cash, and I'm betting on him again this week. Kyle Pitts over. Uh, I wasn't necessarily worried because I figured they were going to feature him at some point. But the Jared Goff, I felt like he could have got way more passing yards, but like us not keeping the game as close or competitive, just lend them to running the ball.
Yeah,
So I felt like, as usual, the Falcons screwed me on a loss. And I said this like very, very early episodes. It's so hard when you because I usually only make one bet on the other team.
yeah.
But like when you lose the bets and also lose the game, like
It hurts.
you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it hits you. It hits you. Like right in the creases, bro. Um, but hey, back at it again this week. We are sponsored by insert your betting app here. So, y'all give us money. Anyway, um, so I got extra points made. Cool. Over 1.5. I do think we're going to score 2 touchdowns. Um, the longest rush by Bijan over 15 and a half yards. I see one game break for him. My bet on the other team is to score a touchdown, Ridley. Um, Total pass completions, Ritter, 19 and a half. I chose the over there
Yeah, I like that.
because, yeah, even they put the ball in the air for a good portion and he does the job, even if they're small completions, and he gets the running backs involved. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm cool with him hitting 20 completions. And then Kyle Pitts, that's the train I can't get off of. Over 35 and a half receiving yards. So what you thinking?
um, I like those. There one prop I like Drake London over 43 and a half.
Uh-oh. Is Todd getting into props? Have I made you a degenerate? All right. Let me see. I'm putting it down. Drake London over 43 and a half.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like the offense gonna come out with some determination this week, and I feel like we're gonna see one of the better performances.
I
So
feel like, especially after what happened in Detroit, that like, yeah, they're gonna come out guns blazing to make sure they can do all they can to get this team to pass.
yeah,
All right. Well, we got one from Taj. Let's look for him for a 1-0 week and a 5-0 week from your boy, man. Like I gotta get up to 12-8. But I'm so proud, man. All
we
right.
getting there. We getting there one at a time.
One at a time, man. One at a time. That's how it
There
starts. The first hit
responsibly.
always, they tell you the first hit always free. You know what I mean? All right. We move on to City Talk. Who? All right, on the City Talk, man. Like, definitely looking for y'all to hit us up on socials, to give us some topics to talk about at the end of the shows, kind of wrap it all up. But the first one we're going to talk about, my man, what happened with Prime
They just ain't got the halls up front.
at
Um,
all? At all.
I think they have the talent on the outside, but if you ain't got it up front, it don't matter. They got punched in the mouth, but I think that's gonna be good for him in the long run. And like Dion said, if you're gonna get me, you better get me now.
You better get me now, bro. When he said that, so like, I don't know if you remember the old NCAA games, like
Yeah,
NCAA 13,
big fan.
14, 12, all those. Yeah, I love them. What I would always do was take like a mid-American team, like a Conference USA team, a Big Sky team. I would always take a team out there, right? And like, I would build them up year after. I remember the
Me
last
too.
one I did was UAB, right?
Me too. I love taking the team from the bottom and put and just getting them in that national title conversation.
Over and over again, right? And
Oh
like,
yes.
I want to say it was NCAA 13. A team they could invite you into a conference like once you were good for a
Oh
number
yeah.
of years. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got invited to the SEC. And I remember and I had been with UAB for like 5 or 6 years. And I got invited to the SEC. And Alabama beat the dog crap out of me, bro. Like I'm talking, it was like I don't even think I finished the game. It was like maybe 70-10. Like they beat they beat the brakes off of me. But it's just because like I wasn't recruiting SEC people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like every SEC player was like a 5 star. Whereas like I would get 1 or 2 5 stars because I was in Conference USA. And like that's literally what Dion's going through, bro. Like he just does not have the people. And I I think I noticed it last week versus Colorado State with them actually being able to stay in the game because when I went and like looked back, because I was looking up number 8, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, you may have a draft profile. Like, not to be rude, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's not a good enough player to be an NFL player, but you were like on that stage because Colorado had hype. You know what I'm
You
saying?
talk about you talk about the Kamara dude.
Yeah. Like, I think if he gets drafted at all, he would be like a 6th, 7th round pick, right?
And
Measurables
he
and
was giving
production
them the
wise.
blues.
Huh?
He was giving them the blues.
Yeah, like measurables and production wise, he's not an NFL player, but
Yeah,
like you were
because
just
he's
on that
six
stage.
one. He's 6'1". He's 250.
That's like a
Um,
linebacker, bro.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, not to say he can't do it, but
yeah,
he
no, no, no,
just
no. Not to, yeah, yeah, yeah. I ain't never gonna shit on no man Green. But like just he was working it, you know what I'm saying? And like Oregon has been a perennial powerhouse for 20 years now. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
they got the dudes. They got the dudes. And Colorado just doesn't yet. And I feel for it. Uh Travis Hunter wouldn't have made a difference that game.
No, and
Shador,
people saying, "Oh, well, if we had Travis, look, it wouldn't have mattered."
No, yeah, Travis is not.
Travis in on the front line, so it
Yeah,
don't matter.
no, he's not. He's not work. He doesn't move the line 35 points. He doesn't do it.
No,
Shador, you just completely overwhelmed that game, but it wasn't much he could do. And I hate it, but like USC is going to be the exact same. USC is going to be the exact same.
I think I don't see Dion going out back to back. I mean, they're going to lose, but I don't see going out back to back putting up only 6 points.
No, I feel like their offense might do a little bit more, but in terms of stopping USC's offense,
Oh yeah,
like
no, yeah, USC gonna do what they want on offense.
yeah, no,
I expect Colorado's offense to have a better performance, but it's still gonna be pretty one sided.
I think they're still in mid Big Ten or not mid Big Ten, mid Big 12, low Pac-12 conference.
Yeah,
Like
I
like
I,
those
I
are those are
think
competitive games.
I think they're
Like they're
probably
not
gonna
they're not ready
be
for high Pac-12, mid Big Ten to high Big Ten, mid SEC, high SEC competition yet. Like they're not there yet.
not near. They're not in the trenches.
No.
But I expect them. Uh, let me see. I expect them to finish. So USC's gonna be 2 losses. UCLA might be 3, and then I think they'll lose to Utah.
Oh yeah.
So I
Yeah, 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 yeah. They're
so
losing to
I
Utah.
yeah I see them finishing with 1, 2, 3, 4,
8-4 is not a bad season for a team that
yeah,
won one game last year.
yeah. I think that's about what it'll be. 8 and 4, 7 and 5.
I don't. One thing with Dion, one thing I honestly feel with Dion, I don't feel like they're gonna lose any game they're not supposed to. So
Oh no,
like, are you? Who's your college football team?
Colorado's my college football team.
Colorado as of now, right? So like
Yeah, as of now, yes.
for me, I've been a Hurricane fan for like most of my life, right? And
Yeah.
then I also like I'm married to Georgia girl, like literally grew up outside Athens. So, I follow the Bulldogs too. And Mark Richt, like, he was always good for losing a game he wasn't supposed to, bro.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that South Carolina game would trip him up every year when he was in Georgia. He came to Miami and he would just like randomly lose like a game versus Pitt. You know what I'm saying? Like just like you would lose a game you're not supposed to lose. And I always felt like that was like team preparation type stuff. I don't feel like Dion is ever gonna have these kids lose a game they not like they supposed to win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Any game that they're supposed to win, that their talent outmatches the other team, I feel like they're gonna win it. Even if it's
Yeah.
close, I feel like they're gonna win it.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that sentiment. Yeah. And
But
you know, and for the people who just think I'm just a bandwagon Colorado, I don't really follow college football like that. I'm from Georgia, so I will root for Georgia. I mean, I won't root against them, but you know, Dion is a polarizing figure, and that's my guy. So when he's stepping, I'm stepping.
I'm saying Falcons fan, bro. Like Neon's like our greatest draft pick. So like it is what it is. Like and
Exactly.
and and like that kind of slides into like another thing is like we won't get too far off on a tangent because like we went OD on the time last time. But
Yeah.
like but like you don't have to like explain your fandom. And I feel like a lot of times people go through gymnastics to like explain their fandom. But like, bro, I like that team because I like that team, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you a Warriors fan? You didn't like them when they had Monte Ellis. I didn't. I like them when they had Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
like, um, I just feel like people kind of like go through all this. Like, bro, if you're a fan, you're a fan. You know.
Yeah.
And I also don't believe like I'm a Falcons fan through and through. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Falcons fan, I'm a Hawks fan. been with them through thick and thin times, like thick times. Ain't been too many thick times for the Falcons, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but on the same token, like as a fan, I honestly believe you don't owe no team that consistently makes bad decisions like your fandom and loyalty just because like you like them at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? Like if like I couldn't imagine being a Chicago Bears fan since 2010, bro. Like one playoff appearance, multiple crappy quarterbacks, like yeah, terrible free agents decisions. Like, bro, I just don't like y'all no more. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all suck. I just don't like you no
Yeah,
more. Like I'm not finna let you continue to ruin my Sundays. You know what
I
I'm
know.
saying? Like, but I mean,
Completely understand that.
you know, I especially like in a free agent like mindset in life that we live in now, like, hey, fans could be free agents too, man. So
I mean, yeah, because some people just follow players. That's what I used to do in college. I would follow players.
yeah, and the
But,
transfer portal just makes it to where like literally,
yeah.
bro, you're just cheering for the jersey at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think probably probably the one team that I did root for when I was younger. Well, there were two teams. One was Oregon, and the other one was Boise State because I just wanted to go play on the blue field.
Oh yeah. Boise with the blue field was nice.
Yeah, that was it. Just the blue field. That was enough to get me to pledge my allegiance to them for that period of time.
Yeah, and then you know, like, and they beat Oklahoma because like we're around the same age. They beat Oklahoma in that Fiesta Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like, yo, this is super cool. And then like, yo, like I started sucking. I stopped liking you. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
know
pretty
what
much
I'm
what.
saying?
Yeah, like
Like,
y'all fell off, and like, hey, well, that's the end of our relationship. Y'all be blessed.
you know what I'm saying? Like, uh, but speaking of a college looking score, my boy, what the Dolphins did to the Broncos, that it felt personal. It felt motivated. It felt racially motivated. Like I'm telling you, bro, bro boy, it was rough. It was rough.
You see, that game alone cured my blues on Sunday.
A
Like I
little
was
bit,
down.
a little bit,
I mean, I was down, but then I seen the Saints lost, and then I seen, oh, Sean Payton got mollywopped. You know what?
bro.
It's not that bad.
When
You
people
got
talk
two
about
out here throwing no look touchdown passes.
my with the right hand, with the
Hit hit
right hand, bro, I said, oh
hit
god.
him with the Magic Johnson.
Man, I was like, and then they didn't even run it up. They didn't even run it up on them, bro. They
No,
put the backups in, and the backups was running all over them, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. It looked like Denver quit, bro.
yeah, because like both of their running backs had 4 touchdowns each.
Like that's quit. That's quit. Like it don't. Hey, look, man. Football is hard. Football is hard, and it hurts. And I'm not proud to say I've been on the field on plays where it's just like, bro, he's not close to me, and then he cuts back, and I'm not prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been that guy. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like, bro, it looked like the whole team just quit, bro. It was just like it's too much. It's too much. I can't do it anymore. And like it's week 3, dog.
Yeah,
It's week 3. What the hell is this gonna look like in week 12?
bad.
And they can't get out of that Russ contract.
Oh no, yeah,
And
they they like man.
I was now granted the Dolphins look like a video game. That's awesome. I kind of don't like the fact that they didn't go for the record. And the only
That
reason why I'm like that is because, like, one, I think records are important and you should break them. But two, like you don't get any points for being the bigger person. Like, be small, be petty, be nimble. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like I don't believe in running up the score, but like if you're in that position, like you don't get extra points for being quote unquote classy. Like, bro, we're
For being
professionals.
yeah,
Like they didn't
yeah,
stop.
you don't get no nobility. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you did the noble thing and you didn't score 73.
But like now your name is the second highest point total ever. Like, bro, be first.
Now, from what I'm hearing, I believe Tyreek Hill said it in his pod that the team captains went up to the head coach and was like, "Don't do it."
Man, fuck out of here. That would have been like, hey, look, we kicking this field goal, boy. If we miss the field goal, that's straight. But we kicking this field goal. I just
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like so in his press conference, he was saying like, I don't feel like that's indicative of what our team is trying to prove, et cetera, et cetera. But like I actually look at it on the flip side in the sense of like you're teaching your team to leave shit on the table. I'm
Yeah,
trying to eat it all, bro. I'm trying to eat it all. No crumbs, bro.
yeah.
Nothing
Don't
left.
leave. You can't. They left meat on the bone. That's for sure.
Yeah, like you're making it to where like your path to victory is to be the most dominant offensive force in the league, right? That's how you're building your team. That's how you plan on winning games, right?
Right,
So if that's the mindset that you're trying to build in the team, scoring the most points ever does nothing more but build that mindset.
right.
Nah, bro, like and if it didn't come in the sense of running it up, like I could understand. Like they had that one pass to Robbie and Robbie Chosen. They had that one pass to him, right? Like after that, they didn't put the ball in the air.
Yeah, and that was the backup quarterback that threw that. Like,
They they didn't put the ball in the air, bro. Like Denver quit. You quit. You enter the record books too. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you quit. You come in the record books with. So I
yeah.
don't know. I thought they should have went for the record, but even still, 70. It it felt personal, bro.
I think they should have just because of who that coach is. Sean Payton is arrogant as hell,
And
and
tries to run the score up all the fucking time.
he does. But it's just like mainly for the thing is during I think what during training camp, but he called out the thing Hackett. Yeah, so when I'm watching back the film, this was the worst coach team I've ever seen on film. You may have seen it, but they didn't give him 70.
Hey, factual. In fact, Denver's defense was good last year, bro.
Exactly.
You hired Vance Joseph, which was a
You,
fireable offense within itself.
yeah, because you should have kept the dude that there, because you stopped us from getting the guy, and then only let him go to Carolina. You held him because we were going to bring him in, and then you said, "Nah, we're gonna keep him," and then you let him go. He goes to Carolina, and then you bring in Van Joseph. So
And
trying to
Carolina's
spite
defense
that,
looked good this year.
yeah. So, but trying to spite us, you fucked yourself.
Yeah, hard with no loop because Vance Joseph is a terrible defensive coordinator. I don't know how he got a job, how he keeps getting jobs. And like apparently Vic Fangio was supposed to be the coordinator. But bro, you took the Denver job. He just got fired there 2 years ago. He ain't coming back as a defensive coordinator.
Mm-mm-mm.
So how was your backup playing Vance Joseph, who also was a former fired Denver coach?
Right.
I just nah, you dropped the ball there. It was rough. It was rough.
Yeah. It was definitely rough.
70 points though. That feel like an NBA score. And we had some NBA news drop today.
Oh
Dame to the
God,
Blazers, bro.
I love it.
I
I
think, man,
absolutely love it.
him and Giannis together, that's going to be some trouble for the East, man.
That's gonna be box office.
Um, I am a little. I'm not worried that they're taking the ball out of Giannis's hands. I just, when I think of Giannis, I don't think of him as having any type of true quote unquote post presence. It's just like length and athleticism and him bringing the ball up and carrying around the floor. Now, obviously, Dame is a amazing catch and shoot option, but like you really want him running the show. So like, does that cut into Giannis assist?
I
How
don't
does
think
the
so.
offense
Well, I
look?
mean, well, the thing is, Giannis only averages about like what 4 or 5 assists a game anyway.
5.5, yeah.
But 5 of that, so it's not like he has crazy assist numbers. So I still think those numbers will be intact. If any, but it gives him a true guy that can get buckets. Like
Nah, that's hey, absolutely, and
so
it opens up the floor because
exactly
it's
because
not
all
like
it
you're not
does
going
is
to read them.
right because all it does is gives you one more guy that you have to bring out of the paint because that makes Giannis' job that much easier because the paint gonna be open.
Now, former Hawks coach Mike Bud has not been known for having the most imaginative offenses.
He
So,
doesn't. He doesn't need to. Just let your star players be star players. That's all you got to do.
and that's what I'm feeling like he might have to do because I feel like even with Giannis, he kind of overcoaches just a little bit. I think and is kind of like beating into Giannis, trust the system, make the pass. You know that Hawks team was really big on sharing the ball. In some spaces where I felt like you should have just let Al eat. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think with Dame being there and him really having the gravitas and pull to be like, I understand the offense, I understand everything you're talking about, but this 35 footer is going up. So
Oh yeah.
if you don't like it, be there for the rebound because this is going up. Um, I do think that that's going to be one of the awesome storylines for this season, especially as it pertains to our Hawks, considering they're in the East. So the basketball pods are on the way. Can't wait to discuss them with my man Taj.
Yes, sir.
Um, I feel like we did a little better on time, but we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. So um, thank y'all for listening. Appreciate y'all. Look for us on socials. It'll be in the descriptions, in the bios. Um, we're gonna get something going on Patreon. You know, maybe a all 22 breakdown or something in addition to the pod, just for money's sake. You know, for just being a money whore. But either way, um, appreciate y'all coming through. It's been your boy Q City.
It's been your boy Tyler Bravado.
We out.